What it don't get, I can't use. I need money. I need money. I need money. Oh, yes, that's what I want.
John Lee Hooker singing Money. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. The War and Peace Report, we're broadcasting on over 700 stations on Pacifica and NPR, and low-power FM and college and community stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, Dish Network Channel 9415, Free Speech TV, 9410 Link TV, and on DirecTV Channel 375. And we're video and audio podcasting at democracynow.org. Our headlines are also available in Spanish for any radio station to take. They're there in transcript and audio form. Well, we turn now to the campaign trail. New revelations about Republican vice presidential nominee Sarah Palin continue to raise questions about how her religious views might affect her decisions on public policy. Much of the scrutiny is focused on Palins Church, the Wasilla Assembly of God. This past week, a video emerged of Palin telling students there that the U.S. invasion of Iraq is a task from God.
Pray for our military men and women who are striving to do what is right also for this country, that our leaders, our national leaders, are sending them out on a task that is from God. That's what we have to make sure that we're praying for, that there is a plan and that that plan is God's plan. So bless them with your prayers of protection over our soldiers.
Governor Palin was speaking in June. During the same address, she said the construction of a new oil pipeline in Alaska is God's will.
I can do my part in doing things like working really, really hard to get a natural gas pipeline, about a $30 billion project that's going to create a lot of jobs for Alaskans, and we'll have a lot of energy flowing through here. And pray about that also. I think God's will has to be done in unifying people and companies to get that gas line built. So pray for that.
Governor Palin's comments have raised concern. She could see some government actions as inevitable or preordained as part of a theocratic belief in end times. Governor Palin has also drawn criticism for other reported moves. Among several, she's said to have inquired about banning books at the local library during her stint as mayor of the town of Wasilla. She's also come under criticism for serving as mayor while Wasilla maintained a policy of forcing alleged rape victims to pay for their own forensic tests. I'm joined now by two guests here in our Firehouse studio. Esther Kaplan, investigative editor at the Nation Institute, frequent contributor to The Nation magazine, author of the book With God on Their Side, How Christian Fundamentalists Trampled Science, Policy, and Democracy in George W. Bush's White House. And on the line from Springfield, Massachusetts, Fred Clarkson, independent journalist. He's covered politics and religion for more than 20 years, editor of the forthcoming book Dispatches from the Religious Left, The Future of Faith and Politics. He's also author of Eternal Hostility, the struggle between theocracy and democracy, and has been blogging extensively about Governor Palin's views and public record at talktooaction.org, a website dedicated to politics and faith-based issues. Let's begin with you, Fred Clarkson. What are you most concerned about in Governor Palin's views?
Well, I'm most concerned that the point that you raised earlier, and that is her well-documented belief that she's living in the end times, and we're all living in the end times, and that her interpretation of the Book of Revelation may be driving her public policy, and particularly her foreign and military policy views.
Explain what is meant by end times.
Well, that means that if you take the Bible and you begin with Genesis and creation, and the Book of Revelation, which describes God's plan for the end of the world, we're at the end of the book, and that it ends in a bloody conflagration before God's people are saved. And she and people who think like her believe themselves to be the people who are going to be saved, and the rest of us are not looking so good.
And these comments about the war being a task of God, the Alaska pipeline, praying for the companies and the people.
Yes, certainly the idea that the war in Iraq could be a task of God could be interpreted in that way. But I think more specifically, it's the conflation of one's particular political or public policy views with that of the will of God that makes for a very unstable kind of political thinking.
In what way?
Well, I mean that whatever idea may be popping into your head, that you might be inspired to invade a nation, could be the will of God. that's where it gets very dicey. And sometimes you can find what you're looking for in metaphor, such as most of what the Book of Revelation really is.
Esther Kaplan, you've been writing about religion for a long time. Your book is called With God on Their Side. You've been looking at Governor Palin.
Well, I think that it goes far beyond the one church that you mentioned. There's actually 4 churches that Palin's been affiliated with since childhood and into the present. She changed churches when she began to run for statewide office back in 2002. And all 4 of the pastors at all 4 of these churches indicate that they follow a very strictly Christian fundamentalist, biblical literalist line. At least 3 of them are on record with end times beliefs. The pastor that you talked about of the church that you mentioned earlier,
the Wasilla Assembly of God.
Right. He has actually talked about it, about his beliefs specifically in relationship to electoral politics, saying in 2004 that if people voted for Kerry, he questioned their salvation, saying that if they criticized George Bush, that was a path straight to hell. No question that she comes from a milieu that really understands politics, electoral politics, in biblical terms. And several of these churches have relationships with groups such as Focus on the Family, Christians United for Israel, some of the stalwart institutions of the political Christian right.